and Steve had just left WCW, and Otto wanted to use him in Bremen for the anniversary show, the end of the year show. And I called Steve, and it was timing when Steve was just talking with Vince about coming up to be the ringmaster, and that's and that's the first time he said, "I go, what are they going to call you?" And he said, "Ringmaster." I said, "Ringmaster." He goes, "Yeah, we're going to work on that." But yeah, we both ended up bald, though, sir.
Yeah, when I went in there, Steve was, I don't know how he came up with the idea of Stone Cold, but they started about thinking different names about different things, a real like cold-blooded person. Ice Dagger was one of the names they mentioned
Oh,
to
man.
him.
John, I was actually on the telephone with him, sitting in this same probably a different chair, but in the same office right here when he came up with Stone Cold.
Really?
Yeah, well, I called him because Vince called me and he said he hates your ringmaster. Call him. Don't lose him. You guys come up with something he's happy with. So I called him, and his wife at the time just brought a case of beer in. He finished the case of beer, and then they come up with that Stone Cold, off of that movie.
Wow.
Best ideas. How many wrestling ideas have come up over beer?
Oh man, I wish we had an encyclopedia of beer stories.
Beer and Brisco. Those are the two.
Beer and Brisco. Beer, Brisco, and Bradshaw.
A&B, man.
That's right. It's unbelievable when Steve came in. He was. We all knew how good he was. He's always been that good. It just you had him stuck in that and it just didn't work. You had. It was a crazy time. Kane was a dentist and, Hunter was an aristocrat. I mean, you had a bunch of guys that you could tell were really good workers, but for whatever reason, what they were in wasn't working.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes
I remember on Steve, Vince told me, I don't want to lose it. We can't lose this guy. He's going to make us some money. We didn't know how much money. We didn't have a clue there was going to be that much money, but Vince knew right away, I don't want to lose this guy, so you stay on the phone with him until he comes up, and you guys come up with something that he can live with, and we did. Probably an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation.
Man, that's awesome. That's a good story in itself, man.
Yeah, so and then Freebird was the one that kind of spurred the whole Austin 316 thing. Not that he came up with it, but he's the one that buzzed Steve when he came back because Steve got his lip busted open, had to go to the hospital, get sewed up, come back, and then Michael Hayes, the one that buzzed him and said, "Hey, Jake cut a religious promo on you. Just let him know that Jake had done this so he could had a way to answer it." Then on the fly he comes up with that Austin 316, and man, we sure are thankful he did.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it went crazy after that. I mean, any building you stuck his name on, he sold it out anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
What a talent
run he went on was, I don't know how. You might have somebody that might equal it. Nobody's ever going to top it.
Now, when you teamed up with him, I mean, I know you saw the talent because it was easy to see the guy was that talented. But what did you see in Steve when you were attacking him?
Well, I saw his dedication. I saw his athletic ability, and just for me, what amazed me about Steve was he could learn so quick, and he would see something. We'd watch film. We'd watch film from Portland territories. If we weren't working after the gym, after we ate, we were having a couple of beers.
There were no YouTube at that time. Where were you watching your film at?
We're at my house with James Beaker.
The old cassette tapes, right? Or not cassette.
VHS out of Portland. Out of Portland, Oregon. With it wasn't the Piper era. It was like the 90s, right before that territory died. Had Adams and still had Raven was still up there. Scott was still up there. But we were able to see what was going on, and there was still Matt Bourne was still up there, as a matter of fact.
Matt was a tremendous worker too.
Oh man, and and there's another talent that helped me out. I know he helped Steve out, but Steve was just so amazing, man. I was so happy. Nobody after eating a bag of potatoes, I quit that territory, that Memphis territory. That he came back, man, and he was like,
when you're making no money, and you're eating a potato a day to survive it, that's dedication to stay there and learn your trade.
Unbridled. And he was a better man than me because I was like, I ain't doing that. And Steve stuck with it and had a bag of potatoes, man. I go, what are you doing? I go, come on, let me buy you a burger.
That's not the first time that anybody's accused you of having a bag of potatoes, Rod.